Appalachia isn't a single place on the map. It's a region defined less by borders and more by terrain, by ridgelines, hollers, and valleys that fold in on themselves. It's a long, weathered spine of mountains stretching from the southern edges of New York and Pennsylvania, down through West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, and deep into the hills of Georgia and Alabama. These are among the oldest mountains on Earth. Older than the Rockies, older than the Alps, worn down not by violence, but by time. Ah, time. The people who have lived in Appalachia for generations will tell you that age does matter. That the mountains remember things newer places never had time to learn. You don't usually enter a place like Appalachia all at once. You feel it happen. The roads narrow, cell service fades, and the land rises closer, as if it's listening. Also, sound carries differently here in Appalachia. A creak can be heard long before it's seen. At night, the darkness feels heavier and somehow closer. There's an old saying in some hollers, spoken half in warning and half in explanation. If a chimney is still standing, someone is still there. Not living, just not gone. Across Appalachia, stone chimneys stand alone in fields, on hillsides, and deep in forests where houses once stood. Since then, the walls have collapsed and the roofs caved in decades or even centuries ago. Trails that once led to front doors have vanished beneath leaves and moss. Families moved on or died out, or were carried away by work, war, or the slow pull of the outside world. But when all the people are gone, the chimney remains. To outsiders, these structures look like simple ruins, remnants of poverty, fire, or abandonment. But to many Appalachian families, they represent something else entirely. These lone chimneys are markers, and there is a quiet rule, passed down without ceremony. If the house is gone, the chimney stays. Often in early Appalachian homesteads, before any walls were raised or floors were laid, the chimney was built. This makes sense, considering the hearth was the center of daily life. Food was prepared there, clothes were dried there, and children learned to walk there. During the long winters, when heavy snowfall caused mountain passes to close, and families went weeks without seeing another soul, it was the hearth that made survival possible. When sickness came, beds were dragged close to the fire, and when death came, which it often did, the hearth bore witness bodies were laid out nearby. Prayers were spoken there, and final goodbyes were said in the flickering firelight. In Appalachia, stone not only absorbs heat, it absorbs memory as well. So, what happened when a home burned, collapsed, or was finally abandoned? Well, families were warned not to disturb the chimney, of course. In parts of eastern Kentucky and West Virginia, the warning was simple: leave it be. You didn't tear it down. You didn't haul the stone away for reuse. And you didn't clear the foundation just to make the land look tidy. In sections of the Blue Ridge, the advice carried a different weight. If you must rebuild, you build around it. The old chimney was incorporated into the new structure, even if it no longer served its original purpose. The old chimney became a reminder, visible proof that someone had endured on that land before, and to remove it was an invitation for loss. Stories still circulate through coal country to this day, along the eastern Kentucky and West Virginia borderlands, of chimneys that were dismantled against better judgment. The stones were reused for foundations, garden walls, even barns. Practical choices, sensible ones. After all, good stone was hard to come by in the mountains, and nothing went to waste. But soon, trouble followed. New foundations cracked without explanation. Walls shifted and split, making them useless. Humans weren't the only ones noticing something off about these new structures. It's been told that animals would refuse to enter the barns built with the old stone, spooking and barking as though something inside the building unsettled them. In more than one telling, the chimney stones were eventually carried back and stacked again where the original hearth once stood. Some might say these events happened because the place was haunted. But, as locals quietly put it, the stone had been returned to where it belonged. After that, the trouble stopped. In Appalachian belief, a hearth fire was thought to guard the household, not only from cold and hunger, but from wandering spirits, ill intent, and things said to move through the mountains after dark. Some families believed a fire never truly went out, it only slept. And even when a house stood empty for years, the memory of the fire remained in the chimney. To dismantle that chimney was to scatter something that had once been contained. And memory, when displaced, doesn't always rest quietly. Back in the 19th and early 21st centuries, burial was not always formal in isolated mountain communities. Doctors were far away, and infant mortality was tragically common. Cemeteries could be miles away, accessible only by narrow trails, and winters were harsh. Some families chose to bury stillborn or newborn children close to the home, and sometimes beneath the hearth itself. Here, The warmth and proximity were believed to offer protection in both life and death. In parts of western North Carolina and the Blue Ridge, elders warned that certain chimneys stood watch over small, unmarked graves. To remove the stone was to disturb a rest that was never meant to be temporary. When this warning was ignored and illness followed, it was not always regarded as a curse. It was a consequence. A standing chimney with no house is a liminal structure. It's neither home nor ruin, past nor present. Appalachian folklore places great importance on thresholds, doorways, creek crossings, ridgetops, and even dusk and dawn. A lone chimney becomes a vertical threshold, connecting earth and sky, memory and forgetting. Liminal places are where boundaries thin. Many Appalachian families trace their ancestry to Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and northern England. In those regions, chimneys were believed to be passageways, not only for smoke, but for spirits. In fact, protective objects were hidden inside them. Iron, shoes, bones, and written prayers are just a few examples. Those beliefs eventually crossed the Atlantic and took root in the mountains of North America. Spread over such a vastly large area, the lessons adapted over time from region to region. In the northern reaches of Appalachia, for example, chimney lore often leads toward warning and bad luck. If you travel further south, warning becomes more about respect and remembrance. In coal camps, chimneys are tied to labor, loss, and sudden disappearances. And in farming communities, the lore is connected to lineage and land. They might all be different mountains, but they surely come with the same caution. Regardless of where in Appalachia you hear this folklore, one aspect remains constant, that the land itself is aware, mountains watch, and forests listen. A standing chimney is a marker of humility, a quiet acknowledgement that someone endured here before you, and removing it can be seen as a challenge. Today, hikers, hunters, and photographers still stumble upon lone chimneys deep in the woods of Appalachia. These are areas with no roads nearby and no houses for miles. They take photos, wander around and speculate, and then move on. Locals, on the other hand, often feel something heavier and impactful at these sites. Some won't step inside the old foundation stones, and others won't touch the rock at all. Even still, many will say the same thing: that's not ours to mess with. So, is Appalachian chimney folklore all about ghosts and superstition? Or is it about something truly timeless? Perhaps it is an understanding that some foundations are meant to remain, even when their purpose is no longer visible. A chimney standing alone says that someone else lived here, someone endured the winter here, Someone was loved here, and the mountains remember them well. So, if you find yourself on a back road or walking a ridge at dusk, and you see stone rising from grass or forest, will you leave it standing? Not out of fear, but out of respect? Well, that's for you to decide.